Well, the next hunter, you see the number 2 there, he's going to go second, is Dr. John Seward. You may remember him from the original story. He was, I believe he was the doctor that was in charge of Renfield. Remember, Renfield was this madman that had been bitten by Dracula and was just out of his mind crazy and would, I think he would eat insects. Anyway, he was a nut. But John Seward, he played an important part in hunting down Count Dracula. And he tried to do his best, fighting alongside the others when they fought Dracula. And he is happily married, and he's achieved quite a reputation in medical circles. But he's willing to risk it all so that he may fulfill his moral obligation in defeating the creature who had caused his friends and himself so much misery before. So he is back on the hunt with his buddies. He's got slots here for the event cards and down here for items. He's got one extra slot here. It looks like it could be for either an item or an event card. So he's got a little bit more room than the other hunters do. He doesn't have 12 hit points like the previous hunter. He's only got 10, which is still good. And his special abilities. Okay, well here it is. It says he may hold a 4th item or event card in his inventory, and he's a physician, so when Dr. Seward or another hunter in his location rests, only 1 event card is drawn instead of 2. So what happens there, I think, is when a hunter chooses to rest, they draw 2 event cards, and they have to throw both of them away if they're beneficial to the hunter. You're basically resting and allowing time to pass, and that's only going to help Dracula. So if you draw any Dracula cards, they go to Dracula. So he can kind of speed up recovery and rest, so you only draw 1 card. Still, it could go to Dracula, but 1 is better than 2. So John Seward, what is he Dr. Seward, what is he going to do? For no reason in particular, I started Dr. Seward all the way up in Liverpool. So to get anywhere close to Dracula's trail, he's going to need to cross the sea. So he's heard the newspaper reports that Dracula was, or evidence of Dracula's presence is in Paris. So probably the best thing he can do is try to get to one of these ports so that he can get on a ship as soon as possible. So let's roll a train die for him. See if we do better than the last hunter. We rolled a 1, so we have a same result. He is not allowed a reroll. So let's have him go. He can only go in one direction here. He goes to Manchester. That is a large city, and he can resupply there. So he's going to be allowed to draw an event card and an item card. Alright, here is the event deck. We're drawing from the bottom again. And it looks like this time we've drawn a card for Dracula. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. This says Relentless Minion. This is a keep card, so Dracula holds on to this for now. Play this card immediately after a hunter has defeated or escaped from a minion encounter. The hunter immediately encounters another minion of the same type. Alright, that might come in handy later. He can also, since he's in a large city, draw from the item deck. So let's draw something here, and goody goody, he has a crucifix. You may only play this card against Dracula, so it's not going to help him against the minions. And we'll see how that plays in combat. Looks like it can be used in a direct combat situation with Dracula. So he'll put that in his inventory. Alright, our next hunter you probably know well. He's going to go third. It's Dr. Van Helsing. Dr. Van Helsing was really a match, or actually more than a match, for Dracula in cunning and strategy. He was an expert in hypnotism, and he knew all of the kind of tricks and lore necessary to combat the undead. Well, recently Dracula has been revived, and Van Helsing is back on the hunt. The thing is that Van Helsing is not a young man anymore. He's actually in his 80s now, and he is determined to finally put an end to the Count, his great nemesis, even if it's the last thing that God grants him the strength to do. So perhaps this is representative of the lower hit point Count. By his picture, he looks fantastic to be in his 80s. But let's get him a hit point marker here for 8 hit points. Let's actually explain here. Let's take a look at these abilities. He's got your standard inventory count, 3 and 3. Van Helsing may rest, resupply, or trade after having an encounter, unless the encounter ends his turn or he fails to kill his opponent in combat. Alright, so even if he gets mixed up with a minion somewhere, he's still allowed to take a breather. Strong will. It takes 3 bites instead of 2 to defeat Van Helsing. So he can be bitten 2 times. There we go. That's what I was thinking about the bite tokens. He's going to have to be bitten 3 times instead of just 2 to be defeated. So, tough guy. Still on the hunt at 80-something years old. Van Helsing's up next. Well, here he is in Rome, stake in hand, and he's gotten word that Dracula is possibly in Paris or nearby. So he's also going to attempt to take a train, but we see that he is in Eastern Europe. The railroad is yellow, so he's not going to be able to move 3 cities, even if he gets that great roll. So let's see how many spaces he can move. And he did get the best roll. He got the 2-3 count, but like I said, he can only move 2 at maximum. So, unlike where we might want to take a die roll for a random move if there were multiple options, the railroad's only going one way. So he's going to go 1, 2, and stop in Milan. And that is a large city, so he can take a couple of cards. Alright, we've got our event deck. We are drawing our event card. Let's see what it is. Mystic Research. This is a play immediately. It says, you may look at Dracula's event cards and share the information with the other hunters. Strange, since this is a solo game. I think this is a card that probably wouldn't fit a solo playthrough. It's just not beneficial because I'm playing both sides, and I'm really rooting for Count Dracula here and giving some random movements to the hunter, but this particular card just wouldn't do any good, I think. So let's discard this and allow Van Helsing to draw again. He does get another hunter card, and this is a keeper, and it's called Forewarned. Play this card after Dracula reveals an encounter in your location, but before it takes effect, you discard the encounter without effect. That's a good one, especially when you're running around at 80-something years old. You don't want to be getting into fist fights with Dracula's minions. So Van Helsing will keep this card and draw an item card next. Alright, we've got our item deck here, and for Van Helsing we've drawn Holy Water. It says you may only play this card against Dracula. You may discard this card at the start of your turn to try to cure yourself of a bite. Or I guess you could attempt to throw it or splash it onto Dracula in combat. So he's going to put this into his inventory, and that will finish up Van Helsing's turn. Well, last in the order of the hunters, but certainly not least, is Mina Harker. She was the very close friend of Lucy, who was killed, or actually turned into a vampire and then later destroyed. We see on her card that she's already been bitten. So she is from the original story. Dracula tried to take her before, and she's been bitten. So it says Mina Harker has one bite that cannot be cured. Dracula does not receive a +1 to his combat rolls due to this bite. Perhaps others, when they get the tokens, it does become +1, I guess. She's also organized. It says that she gets one extra item or event card, her choice, when resupplying. She has 8 hit points. Well, it says that Dracula has recently been revived and has awakened the ties that bind Mina to him. A passenger in her own body, Mina watched in horror as Dracula used his powers to force her to attack her young son. So she almost killed her own boy, but her husband stopped her. And knowing that she was a threat, and that Dracula was a threat to many others, she decides to head off once again with the others to try to destroy Dracula. Jonathan was forced to admit it was best that Mina go instead of him, since she would be in Van Helsing and Dr. Seward's excellent care. And very important, she possessed the blood link that was used to locate Dracula before. So I think there is a card in the event deck that might allow Mina to discover or reveal Dracula's location. So that's important to tracking him down. So that might come up later. But there she is. We will have her turn next. And once again, for no particular reason, I just put her way over here in Budapest. She has read the newspaper reports and knows that Dracula was near Paris. So that's where she's heading. And she's got a 0 on the die roll for the train. Let's see exactly what we do for that. Alright, it just says there were no trains departing in the required direction. So they can either stay in the city they're in, move by sea or road instead. And they still get their regular action phase during the turn. Well, let's just have her go by road instead, so perhaps she's on a carriage or something like that, and I don't think it really matters. We're going kind of small city in either direction, so we'll have her go here. And in this small city, she can not take an item card, but she can take an event card. And her special ability said that when she resupplies, she gets one extra item or event card, her choice. One extra card, her choice. I wonder if that means that she could get both an event card and an item card. Let me think about that. I guess the safest way for me to play this is to say that she would get one extra of whatever it is she's allowed to get at that place. So probably here in a small city she could take an event card, and she's allowed to take one more if she wants to. I'm just not 100% sure if it allows her to cross over and get a card that is usually not allowed at that place. So obviously in a larger city she would have a choice of either one. But let's just keep it safe and go with 2 event cards. That doesn't break any of the rules. Alright, we're going to take a look at the event deck here. We've got a hunter card, good for her. This is a keeper, Sense of Emergency. Play at the start of your movement phase. Lose health equal to the number of vampires that Dracula still needs to win. Well, we need 6 vampires to win, so that would really hit Mina hard. She only has 8 hit points. But if she does this, if she takes the damage, then she can move to any location on the board. And you may not play this card if doing so would reduce you to 0 health. That would just drain you to the point of death. Well, she'll keep that. Maybe she'll use that later. And she got lucky. She's got another Hunter card. This is a keeper as well. Long Day. Play this card at the start of your turn. Move the day-night counter backwards along the track by 1 space. You cannot play this card during dawn. Why would she do this? Well, Dracula is stronger. He is a stronger opponent, while the timer there is on the night spaces, twilight, midnight, and small hours. If you encounter Dracula, he gets more choice of combat cards. So if it's during the day, he's much weaker. So probably somebody like Mina would want to play this to keep it in the daylight hours, to catch Dracula when he's weak. So she'll do that. She'll keep this card, Long Day, in her inventory for now. Well, there you have it. 1 full turn. Everybody had their chance, and the game is on. So Dracula is on the move. We're going to pick it up with him again. He'll choose his next location. The hunters will continue to close in on Paris and see if they can pick up his trail on the way there. So please join me for some more Fury of Dracula, my attempt at a solo version. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll catch you later.